We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, we're not actually live. This is a pre-recorded interview, and I am joined by the lovely Sianna224. Today, we're going to be just talking chill vibe chat with guests I have, that content creators that create videos on YouTube channels and TikToks or any other social media platform. Let's start by introducing our first guest of the day, and that is Sianna224. How are you?
Hi there.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. All right then. So let's start. You mentioned before you're actually it's quite interesting actually because there's a big popular debate now. Like a lot of people say that you should never go out. You should never start like going out with a girl too early. You should never get in a relationship too early because you need to start experience. You need to have more experiences, otherwise you can get bored in life. But you have the totally opposite experience. So tell us about you have the fairy tale experience. It's a bit too much of a fairy tale, but let's hear it nonetheless.
So I met my now fiance in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
We've been together for 9 years. We have two children together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
So how old were you when you met,
um,
sir?
13.
You were 13 when you met. Were you both in like the same class at school or something as well?
No, he's 3 years older than me. He was in college when we met.
Okay. If I had a soundbite, it'd be haram. But never mind. Never mind. I think you were nearly 14 at the time or something, weren't you? It was closer to
Yeah,
14 at the
yeah,
time, wasn't it? So it's only
yeah.
like a 2 year difference, and he's probably only like a couple of like a year and a couple of months older than you. So but that's incredible. So you've been together 9 years since you were 13.
Yeah.
That is incredible. That is incredible. And you got a family together as well now, I assume.
Yeah, yeah. We got two children together, yeah.
Wow, wow. What's that like having two children, and obviously quite young as well, weren't you? So, what's that like bringing up two kids and stuff?
Um, it's a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. Like he's a brilliant dad as well, so it makes it a lot
Wow.
easier that I have support. Um, yeah, one of my children has suspected ADHD and autism,
Hmm.
so he can be very challenging at times. But yeah, we co-work together and support each other through it.
Wow, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So you mentioned your son's got ADHD or something. What's that process like? Because I know there's a lot of problems now with parents trying to get like the diagnosis from the doctors and stuff like that. They're very like hesitant to do it now, sort of thing. So I don't know if you're having the same sort of problems at all.
Yeah, it's very long-winded. We've been through some appointments with my son, and like they can see how challenging he can be. Um, it's still ongoing. Um, I
Sorry,
mean,
my lighting was really bad. Sorry. Yeah, still ongoing.
um, yeah, we're not getting very far at the moment. Hopefully, in the near future, something will be sorted.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that can be very challenging. I mean, like especially like if you're looking after two children and one of them's got like suspected ADHD and stuff like that, can be very challenging. Like it's hard enough as it is, and I think a lot of women don't feel like they get a lot of like don't get the recognition that they should get for looking after children. It's kind of I don't know if you've seen it in your area, but it's kind of frowned upon. It's like, oh, she doesn't work. But it's a very hard job looking after children. So I mean, some people will never know, but looking after children, like some people, they have their kid and straight away 3 months in nursery straight away sort of thing. And I don't think, obviously, I get it if that's what they've got to do because to make ends meet, fair enough, but it seems pretty harsh to dash your kid straight into freaking nurseries and stuff like that at 3 months and from a young age. So you're doing the hard job, and society in general, they're very it can be very judgmental on people like that. But what do you think? It's like just tell us a little bit about your day to day. Looking after children. 'Cause that must be so hard.
Well, I mean, they're at school from 9 till 3:24. Apart from my daughter, she only goes in on a Wednesday, a Thursday,
Hmm.
and a Friday. But some days I will have to go down to the school and sort his behavior out because the school can't cope with it.
Oh, okay.
Um, but at a weekend, I mean, it's very challenging. He's very energetic. Um, it, yeah,
Do you feel
he's
you're getting enough support from like the schools and stuff like that, and like the bodies and stuff like that, just to sort of like help out a little bit? You think you're getting enough support there or not?
I not really no. Um, I mean, I get nagged at from the school because my son falls asleep in school, but as I say to the doctors and things, like my son won't go sleep between till like 1 a.m. till 5 a.m. He's just constantly on the go. So
Wow, that must be challenging. How do you cope with that? Jeez, 1 till 5. Jeez.
yeah, my partner's like a night owl. He basically stays up all night. So
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. And okay, so we're gonna move on. Fabulous little insight into the life of a parent. That's looking after their children, taking responsibility, and obviously finding love at first sight. Sort of. 2013. And then you've been together for 9 years. That's pretty impressive. So,
yeah,
but okay. So the next question of the sorry, were you gonna say something?
we
Sorry, you cut out there just a second. Sorry. What do you say?
um we also have my partner's sister living with us. She's got a few disabilities and stuff, so we had her for 5 years. Then she moved out, and then she's just come back recently to live again. So she's
Wow.
only older than me.
Wow, geez. So you got a busy house then. But I suppose a few more people sometimes it can. Although it seems like when people take over people come into your space, it can be annoying at first. But after a little while, it's actually quite warming. It can be a little bit warming. Obviously, if they stay too long and stuff, it can be a bit tricky sometimes. But it's actually quite warming when you got a few
Yeah.
family there. Mm. Okay, so I was going to say we're going to move on to something that really pisses you off, something you feel really strongly about. You mentioned it briefly on the chat before. Jump straight in and let's hear it.
Um, I really can't stand people being homophobic. Um, my best friend's gay, and he's so lovely. Um, and yeah, it really does frustrate me because, at the end of the day, they're just human beings. They just want to be happy too.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
has he has he had like really bad experiences? Is he like getting like what sort of experiences has he had? Sort of.
he's had a lot of hate. Walking through town and things, people would comment, say things to them. And a few times I've had to go at these people just walking in the street, but there's no need for it. Do you know what I mean? If they're happy, they're happy.
Is he
Um,
is he is he is he like sort of like towards the trans side where he dresses up and stuff, or is it just?
no, no, it's um like because they were holding hands in public,
Oh,
or
okay, okay.
they would kiss each other in public. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there are some people, that there are some old school sort of snooty people that don't like to see don't like to see any sort of affection whatsoever. So like, there are some people like someone could be walking down the road and see a guy and a girl necking each other and be like, oh, get a room sort of thing. So I think there is that, but obviously there is obviously the homophobic element to it as well, sort of thing that people have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But I wouldn't expect. Obviously, I wouldn't expect it to be that bad. And we don't hear it. Well, it's not something that you hear about. I know, like trans guys at the minute, they're having a lot trans. I don't even know the wording to it. We'll get into that in a second. But trans guys tend to have a little bit more problems because obviously they're dressing up, and obviously people they're walking down the road dressed as a girl. Some of them are quite obviously you can quite tell that they're biological men sort of thing, and some people
yeah.
make comments and stuff like that.
One of my partner's cousins dresses up as a girl, but he's quite the influencer.
Okay. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, what do you make of this whole like new movement sort of thing, where they're sort of, it seems like they're almost encouraging children to sort of like want all this identification stuff. You know, they're like you could just, a kid could have put on a pair of girls' shoes, and nowadays it seems like if a boy's putting on girls' shoes or even putting on a dress, he wants to be a girl, and they seem to be at schools really pushing that. Like, what's your opinion on that sort of situation at the minute?
Uh, my, I think they could change their mind in the future. If they want to, wear girls' shoes if they're a boy and that. I mean, I would like. I don't think people should have a problem with it. Like at the end of the day, they're their own person. They can make their own choices.
Yeah, I think it's more what people have. People don't have. I think the issue that people have is that, like, the moment we see adults see things with our eyes, we try and categorize everything. We try to make sense of it, sort of thing. Like, oh, he wants to be a girl. He thinks he's a girl. And nowadays, there's so much material now for children, at young ages, where that they're really pushing these things on them, like they're like, and some people have
Mm.
the opinion at school, like when they send their children to school, they don't want them necessarily learning about all these. They don't want their children knowing that they can identify as 20 different, a hundred different genders and all this sort of stuff. Like, after, as you as a parent, like, would you would have no issue like teachers telling your kids that they can identify as a wolf or a pig or
Well, I I wouldn't. No, I'm not very judgmental, and if my child decided that's what they wanted to learn about, that's fine. Um, at the end of the day, I would give my child a choice.
yeah. I think it's just like most people just look at it and it's just like, if you like it's because it's like, where does it go from here? Because it's like, you say like your kid's at school and I don't know, he's just mucking around and he barks like a dog, whatever, goes whoa, something like that, and then the teacher calls him into a room, brings some person in there and says, oh, do you feel that you want to identify as a dog? Do you feel that you're a dog and you want to identify as a dog, sort of thing? As funny as that may seem to you, that is literally what is happening in schools. It's not as bad as it is in the UK now, but in America, I shit you not, there are children running around school, barking, howling, grunting, pretending to be all sorts of animals, and because now it seems it's more of a trend. I feel now that people want to just be different and identify as all these crazy things, sort of thing. So I mean, it's like
Well, I mean, with kids, they have such an imagination, and
that's it.
they
That's it.
might be wanting to be a dog when they're younger. They grow up and start thinking.
Yeah. See, did that, and I think that's fine. I think your understanding of it is fine, but it's just like we see that, oh, kids just being kids, let them be what they want to be. But what people have an issue with is with like schools, like trying to almost like get in the way of it and just get in the way of it and sort of just try and controlling it, and they could be directing children down different roads. Like, you see, I don't know if you've seen the suicide attempts and stuff like that with people that are transitioning and stuff like that. I think it's like 1 in 4 or something like that. It's really bad. It's a real high number. So it's like these people, like a kid could be identified just like being acting a little bit feminine, and some men are naturally feminine. They try and mask it, and then like it's been bombarded on them. Oh, you need to be this, you need to be that. So I think it's just yeah, it's a tough one because it's like parents are just like you said, let the kids be kids, leave them alone. We'll teach tolerance in school, fine, but don't try and push all these genders and stuff like that to the push all these was it yeah these I don't even know what these pronouns, as they call them now, like all these different things. So don't push it to them. Let the kids be kids, teach them tolerance, but
Yeah.
just I think that's what most people would say.
Sorry, suicide's a very touchy subject for me. So
Oh
just
wow, sorry.
give me.
Sorry. Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, I'm good.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time. Yeah. and don't feel like you need to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. It's just obviously I talk about real things that are happening in the world and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things. Moving forward, I mean, next question: something you wish you knew 5 years ago.
Something I wish I knew 5 years ago
Yeah.
would be probably that my best friend since I was 4 was going through a really rough patch. Um, yeah, so I could
Oh, okay, okay, I'm with you. I get you. I
have.
get it. I get it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing you can say in terms of that. But like, just one of those things. Like, I went to a funeral recently, and it's like when you look at people's faces, you see people that are really upset and stuff like that, and it's like the guilt and the regret and everything, all the emotions build up and stuff. But it's like, as long as you done what we can only do what we're only human. We've all got our own lives. We're not trained to sort of like, well, our brains aren't trained to pick up on triggers, pick up on things that like, that like,
Mm.
something could happen, we think, oh no, like something could happen, we go, oh shit, I wish I could have been there and helped that person. But we're not, that's not our skill set. It's not everyone's skill set. We can only do what we can do. um but yeah, it does hurt, and it does really hurt when shit like that happens, unfortunately. But yeah. um yeah, touchy one, touchy one, touchy one. All right, let's jump straight over to your TikToks and stuff like that. Let's just move on with your TikToks and stuff like that. Explain what's going on with these TikToks at the minute, then, and what sort. So, people, if you want to find Sianna224, she's on TikTok. That's her name. She makes funny little TikToks. Tell us a little bit about what started you. How did you get started with TikTok?
Um, it was mostly I was doing like wedding videos.
Okay.
Um, like um, so they'd be like photos of like s- like like weddings, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what started it off. My partner was away with my dad, and basically I was bored.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's how it started off.
Okay. And what sort of TikToks do you make just to whet the appetite of the audience that might watch this and think, oh, let me go over and have a look and see what she's up to?
Um, it's mostly miming songs.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
That's cool. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. So can you sing at all then? Can you sing at all?
I can't sing for shit.
Oh, I suppose that's why you're miming. No, I can't sing for shit either, but I really like doing it, and so it's like I've got no problem singing like out of tune and being very happy about doing that. But because obviously something I enjoy, is something that's very relaxing. But yeah, a lot of envy for people, and they can just bloody open their mouth and freaking the heavens open up, and
Yeah, my best friend, he can sing very well, but he's so shy that he would never sing in public, or the only thing he would do is sing in front of like people he knows.
Mm. Isn't that
But
annoying? Isn't that annoying? I'm just like,
yeah, it is. My partner can sing as well, but it's annoying because they got such great talent that they should be, I don't know, singing to the world. They are literally just amazing, but they hide it, so kind of sucks.
yeah, it does. There's so many voices out there that never get heard. But it's like, it's very frustrating. I'm just like, if I could sing like that, I would bloody be going crazy. I'll be singing all the time. It's like they're given like an amazing talent, like, because it's most of the time, it's obviously you have to work on it to improve it, but there's some people that are just like born with certain gifts, sometimes. And yeah. It's like, so you ask some people, it's like, did you get practice learning to sing? It's like, no, I can just do it. I don't know how I do it. I just do it, sort of thing. So it's weird.
It's really annoying. My friend can hit all the high notes to Celine Dion and that.
Wow.
Yeah, he's really good at it. I sometimes I just look at him like, why can't I sing like that? Instead, I sound like the Cat's choir. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. All right. So in 5 years' time now, going forward, anything you want to accomplish, anything you want to do. Let's talk about.
Um, I'm not really sure. I'm more of live in the now kind of person, like live in the moment.
Hmm.
Well, I do want to get married because I've been engaged for
Oh,
6 years.
here we go, here we go, here we go. He's probably up there. He's up there with the pillow in his face. It's one of those situations, really, isn't it? Where, but it's like, yes, obviously, I get it. Every woman wants a wedding and all the rest of it. They want their white dress, they want their big day or whatever. But you've already got the ring on your finger. You've got two children. You got a
Yeah,
house. You got your partner. It's like, it's a lot of people I speak to. Just like sometimes, when you wait long, like you guys have waited, you've been together long. I think sometimes it's a little bit better when it's actually later on in life when the kids are a little bit older. A lot of
yeah,
my friends have done that.
yeah. But the 6 year engagement is very dragging out.
Yeah, yeah. So where he went wrong was he got engaged. He got engaged. He made the engagement thing. A 6 year engagement is like, yeah, like it's not it's meant to be the traditional 1 year. Is meant to be there. So when you say you're going to get engaged, it's like, oh wow, it's yeah, next year then, is it? But it's so expensive now, though, isn't it? Like it's become really, really expensive. Like I know a lot of people have been doing like I've seen a lot of people doing like just like some like they just go into the woods and they just make their own stuff up and that, and then and then they just go do the registry office to make it official or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know, but it is a lot of pressure on. Like, I think for guys, it's like I think, to be fair, most guys don't give a damn about getting married. They just want to make their women happy, whatever sort of thing. I think most guys are like that.
That case, but I want a low key wedding. He wants to go all out. So
That's it. No, this is what guys are like, though. They don't just want to. If they're gonna do something, they want to do it big. They want to do
yeah,
it big. So it's like, and then that puts pressure. That puts pressure on everything. It's like, so we need to do this. It's like a big wedding now is going to cost you 10 to 20 grand easy. So it's just like,
yeah,
do we do that, or do we get on the property ladder sort of thing, or or something. I don't know. It's invest in a business or something like that. It is a tough one, but yeah, there'll be a lot of women out there in their 10 year, 20 year relationships, and like we're still waiting for a wedding ring. Gonna chime in on that one? 20 years? That is that too much, is it?
yeah. But I wouldn't care. I mean, he makes me happy. So even if we never got married, I wouldn't care.
Oh,
Well,
fair
I would
enough.
care, but you know what I mean.
Fair
It's
enough.
hard to find a decent guy these days. So
Fair enough.
I'm just happy I've got that.
Any interest in hobbies at the minute? Anything you like doing other than making funny
Oh,
TikToks?
um, I like to bake, do art. Um, Other than that, it's just basically revolving around making my kids happy. So
Fair enough, and that's a very rare thing in this day and age, where like women are putting their kids first. It's all about their kids.
mm,
Nowadays, women like they're just. I don't know if you saw that story recently where young girl, she went to a party. And she left her 3-year-old kid at home for I think it was like 6 days. She never came back, and she told all her friends that someone was looking after the baby. They came back, and the kid was I think the kid survived, but it was emaciated. Just in the worst conditions possible. So there's women out there that do not put their kids first. So that is to be commended. To get like a traditional woman like yourself, to actually lives and dies for their kids. But yeah, it's mad.
yeah, that's absolutely disgusting. I would never dream of doing that to my kids. I mean, to me and my partner, they're our top priority, and they always will be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you guys seem like you got things screwed on over there, and obviously you guys are happy. I can't get over it though. You've been together since you were 13 years old. Jeez, that's crazy. Love at first sight. Wow,
Yeah, it was actually. We started chatting over Facebook, and then a few days later, we decided to meet up and start dating.
wow. Uh, all right, we won't touch on that too much because obviously there was a there was a couple of year lapses on that, but yeah, but yeah, okay, we're 24 minutes in. The last bit of the show is just obviously just anything you want to talk about. Okay, no, I'm not going to go into that because it will bring in that actually. But anything you want to, last words you want to bring in.
What was you gonna say before that? It's okay, you can bring it up.
No, because you already sort of touched on it. Like something I always ask people is any mistakes that they've made in their lives or any regrets that they've made in their life. So that's one of the things that I ask. But if in term, don't mention what we already knows. That don't mention. You don't need to mention that sort of thing. But anything else, any other mistakes or regrets you've made that you wish you.
No, it's okay. I can bring it up because you know it is something that made a very big impact on my life. So 3 years ago, I lost someone who was, well, what I called my sister. I grew up with her since the age of 4. She went through postnatal depression, and ended up taking her own life. Um, um, but basically, I was very distant. I was mostly focusing on my kids. Didn't really like the only friend I have is related to my partner. So obviously they're in the family bubble. But I think if things were different, I would have probably tried speaking to her a bit more. Because we came very distant near the end.
Mm. And it's obviously we're human beings, we're good spirit, we're good people, so when things like that happen we are always going to blame ourselves. There's nothing else. There's nothing to blame ourselves and think regrets, think things like that. But ultimately it's just life. Unfortunately, like when I say it's just life, I'm not talking about what happened. I'm talking about when people get in relationships and they have children, you don't tend to have as much time for your friends anymore. You don't have time. It's a hard enough job as it is, just the mental health of a single mum, and looking after children, preparing food, doing all that sort of stuff. We don't have time to phone up all our friends to say how are you doing today and stuff like that. So it's like it's when we have time, and that's just it's a
Yeah.
full-time job. So don't feel that you obviously we're only human, we're only naturally gonna think regrets and stuff like that, but it's just yeah. So I
Well,
think yeah.
I suffer with mental health myself. So.
Oh, okay, okay, it's interesting. What's how
Mhm.
does have you had any diagnosis for it, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, they're testing all sorts of medications on me at the moment just to try and find one that fits. Um, but
Yeah. What makes you happy?
my family.
Okay. Yeah, obviously that's obviously makes you happy, but like when I say what makes you happy, what generally gives you like an endorphin, like a rush in your head, like where it's like you love doing something, something outside the kids. Think about like, is there anything there that that you like doing? Or it could be just going for a walk, whatever, going to the park, something for yourself though.
Yeah. Um, well, I don't really do a lot of stuff myself, but
Mm,
um, going for a walk, but it's for the kids' benefit. Um,
mm.
yeah, mostly doing stuff with my family is mostly what I do. So
Oh, it's for your life. Okay, I do get that. I do get that. Like obviously, like that's brilliant and stuff like that. But sometimes we have to have that little, even if it's just an hour or whatever it is. Sometimes we need. So that's what I would say is just try and find something, an old hobby, anything where you can just do by yourself for an hour a day or even an hour a week, whatever you
yeah,
can do. Just for yourself, because obviously that helps your
yeah,
that like even going for a run, going to the gym for 1 day a month, whatever it is, something like that for yourself, and that does build up a happiness inside you, because it's like some parents, like we sometimes we don't like to admit this is like how hard the job is, like even just keeping your freaking wires straight, like we don't want to admit how hard it is. Like I know, trust me, like I've been at home with my kids before, and I know the stress is like mental health. Oh my god, like oh my god, like it's it's tough. It's real tough. We put on a brave face and we're like, yeah, everything for our kids and blah blah blah, but you're like, inside you're boiling, you know. So it's very important. It's like for me personally, I need to. It's not so much now. My kids are all. My kids, my youngest kid is 12. So, but when they were younger, I used to need to go out at least once a month or even once every 2 months just to get that me time, that alone time for myself, and that really helped. That just like even going for a drive,
Mm.
by myself, that helps me sometimes. Like whatever, but
Very occasionally, I will, shut my kids down, my partner go play with them, or whatever, and I would do some painting or something.
yeah.
But that's very rare.
Yeah, you need a break. So Doctor Brudsey over here is gonna diagnose you with giving yourself, I don't know, half an hour a day where you say to your partner, right, I'm going to do something. I'm going for a run. I'm going for a walk. I'm going to do whatever. I think that you definitely need that because what it is like we suffer in silence almost, and what everyone has a point where they blow, and it's like everything could be fine,
Yeah,
everything can be fine, as you probably know already. I don't need to tell you. And then it's just like, you get to that
explosion.
stage. Yeah. Big explosion, So it's very important. I would say this to anyone as well, guys. Parents, a lot of single mums watch my stuff. Make sure you have that hour or something or that 45 minutes a day. No matter what it is, just anything. You need that me time for yourself, away from the kids, for yourself to do it, and it don't feel, and obviously the kind natured hearts that I can just see straight away, you're already feeling guilty about having half an hour when you haven't even done it yet. I can see it in your face. Bless you. You're like, oh wait a minute, half an hour from the kids. Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you. But
I already had that half hour talking to you. They're upstairs probably waiting for me.
fair enough, fair enough. They're sitting there waiting half an hour alone. Who she thinks she is? Who she thinks she is? You taking a piss now? Oh, bless you, bless you. But yeah, it has been lovely chatting to you. Is it Sianna? Sianna, yeah.
It's Shana.
Shana, okay, Shana, okay, Sianna224. She's on TikTok, guys. Make sure someone goes over to her TikTok, sends her loads of gifts. Yeah, you've been amazing to have on. You've shared some. As nervous as you were, you've done really well, I think, from where you started. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking to you. And thank you very much. Anything you want to say on the last words?
Just thank you for having me.
No worries. And make sure you
Um,
get that. Make sure you book that. Yeah, go.
no, it's fine. I was
Yeah,
gonna say that.
yeah. I was gonna say, make sure you get that half an hour, whatever it is. Find something. And I would say this to people as well: is obviously, um, people are suffering in silence. So don't be afraid to reach out. Like, 'cause a lot of times, where you can be friends with people for a long time, you have kids and that, but you think you just sort of grow away from each other. But don't, like as Shana said, people suffer in silence, and don't be the bigger person. Just send a text out, send a text out. How are you doing today? That's something I would definitely recommend for people to do because there's always 1,000 more people, in a worse situation than you. Thank you for sharing that insight on that story with your best friend as well. You really didn't have to, but what were we gonna say?
Just to make people aware that, just to basically send a message out, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important. Thank you very much, people. You can find her on TikTok, Sianna224. Peace.